today in divorce court?
Yes, Judge Scholler. I'm here today because my wife, she wants to be in an open relationship, and I cannot stand it. Let me tell you a little more about that. So I came home a year ago, and she gave me the ultimatum. She told me that if I didn't want to be in an open relationship, that she was going to leave me. And that hurt me so bad, but it goes further. So I was in Florida visiting my dad, who was on his deathbed. He was dying with cancer. And she was on a business trip up in Northern California, and she went and had something with somebody.
Okay.
Ms. Cordova, is that true that you want to have an open relationship?
Okay, so part of it is true. Yes, I think I was definitely tired of not getting the love that I needed. I'm just over this whole situation already. It's been so many times that I've been trying to just be more sexy with him, be more romantic. He doesn't take me.
If you step back and look at modern relationships from every angle, you'll be shocked by how vicious and nasty modern women can be. It used to be that a woman's inability to faithfully support her husband in an open marriage would bring shame on the entire family, but these days it's the other way around. Just like those parasites, open marriages have no symbiotic relationship with their host but live off of it. For that matter, who is the host again? Yes, he's the man. Today's video takes a look at an open marriage that ended badly for the naive and self-absorbed woman who had originally proposed it. Here's a storyline about a husband, a 44-year-old man, who took a trip to Colombia and was so inspired by the country that he decided to quit his job and relocate permanently. The wife of an open marriage is convinced that her husband no longer cares about her. The couple in this story has been married for 14 years. They were unable to have children, so they opted for an open marriage a few years ago. I'm not implying who came up with the idea, but isn't it universally believed that women benefit more than men from this morally questionable idea? Even if my perspective is rosy, I still know that men can't compete with the malicious methods women use to get noticed. Having an open marriage benefited her far more than it did him. Shockingly, it's much simpler for a woman, even a mediocre one, because she has access to far more potential partners and, of course, their sausages. But men aren't like that at all. Almost all guys are interested in a woman if she is attractive and has showered or bathed within the past day. However, attracting females is considerably more challenging for males. To give a brief, our protagonist, a middle-aged white man, recently traveled to Colombia for business and thoroughly enjoyed his time there. Obviously, he had no trouble attracting a large number of young women, and this has encouraged him to consider making a permanent move there. As a result, our egocentric wife is at a loss. Once again, it's not clear whose idea this was, but I have a strong suspicion that it was hers, and this demonstrates why open marriages and relationships don't work. She was the only one who gained from this scenario, as evidenced by her realization that he was planning to relocate there and her subsequent panic. And by the way, you'll see that this story leads up to the point where he says, "Look, I'm moving down there, and you can come or you can stay here." That's the end of the story. I think it's fair, since she's probably the one who first brought it up, and at that point, it's too late to change the subject. In spite of the fact that you've undoubtedly heard me say this before, I'm going to go over it again because it's so entertaining. Hell, there's nothing better than showing a mirror to these dumb, progressive feminists only to let them see their crying faces. Our protagonist states, "My husband and I have been married for a long time. We've been married for 14 years but don't have any kids because we both put our efforts into our careers and because I struggled with PCOS and having children throughout my life. We both love each other very much, and although we don't have any human children, we do share our lives with 3 lovely canine companions. Dog mom, you can relax now. Being in an open relationship for about 2 years was a huge experiment for us, and it brought a dramatic shift in energy to our relationship. Definitely not joking, and whose idea was that?" She continued, "And if that makes any sense, it feels like things are getting a lot more competitive. In the past, we've dated on and off, going through periods of high intensity followed by calmer times. For some reason, I don't think my husband has discovered partners because he lacks actual passion and doesn't have the same level of enthusiasm and interest that I do about this. So, there you have it. Clearly, the man had the decency to say no to those young bimbos seeking a sugar daddy, but surely the woman needed variety in her life. Good for her, but she isn't ready for what is yet to come. We've been happy together for the past few months, and neither of us has been seeing anyone else, but my husband was invited on a trip to Colombia with a business partner about a month ago. Although I had hoped to accompany him, his business partner's unattached status made it seem inappropriate for me to attend. I don't see the point in bringing a sandwich to a buffet now that we're in an open marriage." He won't elaborate, but it sounds like he had a fantastic time. "The people," he said, "were so welcoming and friendly. I asked him if he wanted to start a family with a woman from there, and he said no, that wasn't what he meant, but that was very different in a good way. He didn't give me details, but he said he was able to date beautiful women and that he would get checked out constantly. If this doesn't convince her that she's making a huge mistake, I don't know what will. My impression is that feminists would benefit from clearing their mental clutter if they were to adopt a more balanced view of the world. In retrospect, it's hard to fathom your rationale for embarking on an open marriage. Why does the fact that he is successful in attracting females bother you so much? I thought that was the point of having an open marriage. Or perhaps your jealousy has gotten the best of you and you're just being hypocritical. All these questions need answering, and not a single woman does it. Because that's what they always do, make a valid point, then point the finger at men when things go wrong. She elaborated that he plans to live like a king during his time in Colombia. The young women are a bonus, but being in a South American country also gives him the opportunity to act arrogant, like a true man. Having a lot of money makes it easy for him to attract women, and he has no doubt realized by now that every human relationship is purely transactional. He gets their undying devotion, and they get their hands on the cash. The feminist wife from the developed world just can't seem to accept the fact that her husband is, for once, following the rules. He's even told her he wouldn't mind if she moved in with him in Colombia, but she's clearly too unsettling for him to want that. As a result, Your Majesty, you have successfully let a loyal man escape your grasp. May you go on to great things in the future. Despite the humor, this is one aspect of modern women that I find particularly offensive. They force themselves into uncomfortable situations, whine and cry publicly when things don't go their way, all for the sake of gaining the attention their true man has so far refused to give them. What did we learn from this, bros? Yeah, play their game and show them how it's done by playing by their rules. Please share this video to bring awareness to this issue and help anyone you know who is trapped in an indecent and shameful open relationship. Do not, I repeat, do not enter into an open marriage, as it removes the power a man has over a woman. Keep these feminists in check until then by maintaining your dominant position.